Hello, hello, hello. Christina Shear here from the Mast Cell 360 team. We're delighted to be with you another week and share with you on this continued topic of MCAS basics. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the 3 different sensitivity types and one in particular. And so the question for today is, are you robust? Are you currently able to handle robust level of sensitivity when it comes to supplements? And we're going to talk about where that falls within the MC360 method. And I'm excited. We've got 2 guests with us today that are going to share a little bit more with you. They are from the MC360 clinic team, as well as part of our marketing team. They are both experts in their own regard. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. I always want to remind you guys that some of the links in our presentation today is going to be reflective of like a small commission. So if we mention anything in particular, just know that we're not like doing an upsell of any sort of like way, but we do want to just let you know these are some recommendations that we have in regards to our presentation and our broadcast. Of course, this is always for informational and educational purposes only. It's never meant to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent illness. So we do strongly encourage you to discuss anything talked about today with any health recommendations, specifically with your healthcare provider. And of course, this is all content from the Mast Cell 360 brand and team. So don't copy and redistribute, but you can share, tag a friend, and we'll go from there. All right. So what we're going to cover today is the MC360 specific method that we have. As I've mentioned, the 3 types sensitivity levels. What does it mean to be robust? How do I safely onboard new supplements while robust? We're going to talk about how to test for mold toxicity and how do I know if I need to detox? So we've got a lot to get into. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up our guests for today. They're going to introduce themselves. You've seen them before on our Facebook and YouTube lives, but I'd love if they would introduce themselves again. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring them on up to the stage. We've got Kimberly Quirk from our Mast Cell 360 clinic team, and we've also got Jamie with us from the Mast Cell 360 team. As a quick reminder, Jamie is our certified integrative nutrition healthcare guru behind the scenes that is a part of, if you've ever sent us an email, you've probably spoken to Jamie before. And Kimberly is a certified functional mast cell coach on our team as well. So we've got 2 experts with us today. I'd love if you guys would just take a moment, share a bit about who you are and your personal story, and then let's jump right in and answer that first question talking about the MC360 method. Kimberly, why don't you go first? And then Kimberly, I'm going to hand it on over to you.
Okay. Have a background in health coaching, been a health coach for about a decade now, went to Duke Integrative Medicine, got my national board certification, and I'm at the School of Applied Functional Medicine in year 2 of a 3-year program there, just to get more connection on the clinical side to what we can do, right, as part of improving our health. But I will say most of what I've learned has been at Mast Cell 360. I was a client of Beth since 2019. So first 3 years, Beth knew me. I was covered in hives head to toe. I'm a lot better than I was. It's been a journey, and I really enjoyed really working with people here. I've been here. I'm coming up on 2 years this fall. So I've seen probably about 200 or so cases of mast cell activation. So happy to share and talk with you a little bit more today. Jamie?
Yeah. So I have only been in the health coaching world myself for, I don't know, maybe 4 years now. It's only started for me during COVID, but my personal story is over a decade long of celiac disease, Hashimoto's, mold toxicity. And I shared that in last week's live. So if you want to hear my whole story, you guys can go check out that. But I also, was not officially diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome, like many of us, never received that official diagnosis, and became a client of Beth since 2022. And so I similarly have learned a ton in the past 2 years from working here, and find that this is a population that really is looking to get well, and that dedication to their own health is going to take them really far. So we are here to support you guys, and we're happy to share our knowledge with you today. So Kim, why don't we get started by going over like the basics? How do you know if you're robust?
Yeah. So robust for us in the clinic side is usually kind of it usually refers to how quickly somebody can onboard some things, right? Are they reactive? Are they stabilized yet? Are they able to take, a full capsule of something? So usually the clients that I see that are robust are usually able to, they don't have to start with the sprinkles. They do need to still start with the one supplement at a time, right? In case they do react. But usually it's people who are a little bit more stable. They're not having mast cell flares every day. They might have done a lot of pre-work with some other practitioners to kind of get where they are, get really stable. But they're ready to kind of onboard things. They usually can onboard things pretty quickly, and they don't have a ton of reactions. They might have some reactions, but they're usually able to move forward a little bit quicker than people who might be in the hypersensitive or sensitive categories.
All right. So if you guys missed last week, we talked about if you were sensitive, and the week before we talked about if you were hypersensitive. So if you're still reacting to supplements, you definitely want to go check out those 2 previous lives. And today we're going to kind of dig into what is the MC360 method and what you kind of do once you have done that stabilization piece. So Kim, if you would kind of quickly go over what stabilization is, and then today we're going to go into the gentle detox, and the rest of the MC360 method we're not going to cover today, but we do have a video on, and Cam behind the scenes can post that video if you guys are looking to know what the whole method process is. But today we're going to review real quick stabilization and go into gentle detox.
Yeah, so starting with stabilization, I know you guys have heard Beth talk about this. The nervous system is at least 50% of getting that stabilization piece. So making sure that we have our nervous system supports. Many of you have probably taken the nervous system course. So there's, dealing with the limbic piece, the vagal structural piece. And then there's the stabilizing of the mast cells is the other piece of it. So usually people who are robust that we're going to be talking about today usually are a little bit more stable. I like to tell clients that the stabilization piece is kind of like putting the training wheels on your mast cells, because when you go to detox, it's going to slightly destabilize things a little bit. So it's trying to almost overcompensate a little bit and really, getting things so stable that when you add things like a binder or something like that, you're not sort of crumpling and not able to move forward.
Yeah, and the other part of stabilization is kind of like once you have those pieces in place, you don't just stop them when you're ready to detox.
Yes, that's something else I see. People like, okay, when can I go off this? And I'm like, oh, no, you want to keep that. That's a great point. All the way through the method, because as you go through detox, you're going to need those. And they're like, oh, I'm feeling great. I might went off of all these things, but we want to kind of stay on those to ensure that you kind of don't have the big setbacks.
Yeah. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit more about gentle detox and where we start with that. So I'd love for you guys to write in, those who are live or in the replay, what is the number one thing that you want to know about supplements or detoxing? So if you're on with us live, go ahead and put that in the comments, and hopefully we can get to some of those questions throughout the show or at the end, and we'll move forward.
So you want me to dive into the gentle detox piece?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So somebody who's robust, usually probably goes through the stabilization piece quickly, or they might already be stabilized. So we started on the gentle detox. So this isn't like a detox you would get with somebody who doesn't have mast cell. So it's targeted binders, single ingredient binders, onboarding things still one at a time, so that we get a clue if something does set somebody off. I will say that I was somebody who was robust. I was able to onboard things full supplement. But yeah, there were still things that I onboarded, through the detox piece where I knocked myself down by, pushing too hard. So, onboarding things. So onboarding those targeted binders for mycotoxins. Usually we've already tested them, so we know which mycotoxins are present and what needs to be detoxed. Then we get into the other pieces, like lymph support and movement. So that's going to be important that somebody's, maybe walk at your level, walking every day, or moving at your level every day, and increasing that, increasing hydration. So important through the detox phase. That's pretty much how you're, flushing everything out of your system. So hydration is huge. Kidney and liver supports, if needed. So we're kind of watching and monitoring if people are, struggling with the detox piece, and can add some supports, herbals and others, to help support that. Same with methylation. And then we get into more the antimicrobial piece. So, and, with mold, there's the mycotoxin piece, and that's the part we're detoxing, but there's also the fungal colonization piece. So we're getting at, in the antimicrobial piece, we're getting at both the sinus piece, as well as the gut piece. And if it's in your sinuses, it'll be in your gut because it drips down. It's disgusting to talk about, but it's true. We breathe in the toxins, they can colonize our sinuses, can be deep in there, and then it can kind of drip down. And then we get into biofilm busting as well, just to make sure it doesn't come back. So that's sort of the gentle detox part of it.
Sorry, my internet glitched, so I didn't catch that, but I'm hoping our audience did. All right. So, Kim, would you talk about kind of like that first step? Like, how do we even know where to begin?
So the biggest piece we do in the clinic is to, test for mycotoxins. We like urine mycotoxin testing. There's 2 labs that are, what we'd like to say, we do at some point need to run both labs before we would declare somebody mycotoxin free, because even though they're both testing for mycotoxins, they use different testing methodologies. So to get a full 360 view, ideally, you run both of these tests. Like, I would never say, if somebody just came in, and we do have people come in sometimes with just a mosaic, which used to be Great Plains Labs, urine mycotoxin. Sometimes they're like, look, there's nothing here, I don't have mold. Then we go and we run a real-time lab, and some of the other molds are showing up, or so it's a little bit more sensitive test. So we usually like to run both those tests. Sometimes people come in with one or the other, or sometimes we just run one and we do see it, and then we're able to kind of go from there. But before we say somebody is like mycotoxin, fully detox, we make sure we run both those tests. And those are two of our favorite tests for testing urine mycotoxins.
Yeah, so as Kim said, the Great Plains, it's now called Mosaic, so you can look for that. And here's the link if you guys want to grab it. You don't need a physician to get this test. And then if you can only afford one, we like to start with, as Kim said, the real-time mycotoxin test, because it's a little bit more sensitive. So here is your link for that one as well.
Yeah, and it's a good way. I mean, it's what opens our eyes usually. I see it in clients. It was for myself as well, to run that test and say, oh, okay, here's the thing, one of the big things that's keeping me sensitive and keeping me reacting to things. It's just very eye-opening, and it's just a good test to start with. And it's great that you can order it yourself and then sort of get support to help you through the detox piece.
All right. What are some other support that?
So here's some gentle detox suggestions. So like I was saying, drinking the filtered water, at least half your body weight in ounces a day. So for example, if you're 150 pounds, 75 ounces minimum. So really getting that hydration on there. Gentle movement at the level that you tolerate, right, is going to be important. So I know that was key for me. The more I could do, the more I did, and sort of just keeps everything moving. Because your lymph system, what to know about your lymph system, your circulatory system has your heart to pump and keep things moving. Your lymph system doesn't have that. it relies on movement. And sometimes when we're sick, when we're sitting still too long, that lymph isn't really moving, and that can make us feel more toxic. So just to move everything through, just gentle daily. And it can just be, if you were someone who was on bed rest and wasn't really moving at all, it might just be moving around your house doing housework. And I counted that for sure as my steps to begin with. So yeah, gentle walking as tolerated. I mean, it could start with just walking to your mailbox, but usually my robust people are able to walk further, walk a mile, walk 2 miles, that kind of thing. Rebounding is great, something you can do at home. You don't have to jump hard. It just is that gentle, and you can get something like that on Amazon, just a little trampoline to, you don't have to be jumping, right? You can just be moving and bouncing up and down. It's just that movement that helps move the lymph. I've seen a lot of clients do really well with Qigong and yoga. And it's mind body too. So you have a little bit of the nervous system calming a little bit there, as well as the movement. And especially if you're somebody who isn't good at, just sitting still and doing mindfulness kinds of things, Qigong and yoga are a great way to kind of move things through and keep yourself moving.
Yeah, I personally love rebounding. I don't do it as often as I should, but it's great to have.
I love my rebounder too. I have to, mine's down in the basement. I'm like, I think I'm gonna move it up to my office just to do like between clients for a minute. You know what I mean? Just even doing it for a minute is huge.
I know they make some cool ones that like the legs fold down, because it is kind of annoying to have like a little trampoline like in your living room in my case. But definitely like I've seen ones where the legs fold down that you could like maybe slide under a couch and like pull it out.
Nice.
Yeah. So maybe I'll upgrade one day, but yeah, it doesn't have to be an expensive one, just something to get that little bit of movement.
Yeah, it's great.
Let's see, what are some other things that clients or customers can do?
Yeah, so castor oil packs are great. If you've never done a castor oil pack, suggest you kind of checking that out. You can do Google on that kind of thing. But it's using castor oil as a really great oil for, it's one of the ones that goes deepest to help with detox. So it can be super, super supportive and gentle way to support detox. So I have the Queen of Thrones one. It's a great one. I like because it's a pack you can kind of tie on versus you have to sit there. I leave it on overnight. I don't recommend people start with that. Just see how your body reacts to it. You can just do a couple minutes. And those who are salicylate sensitive can use emu oil. Castor oil is higher salicylate, and it will absorb through the skin. So emu oil is a great secondary oil that does go deep as well. Let's see, Epsom salt foot soaks or baths. So usually my robust people can start with a bath, maybe a small amount, see how they do. But those who are more sensitive start with the foot soaks to see how they do. But it really supports detoxing. And then sauna is great in terms of really sweating. Now, remembering that you're already on the binders when you're doing these things, because when you're especially doing sauna and sweating, you're detoxing at a cellular level. So making sure those are getting captured and out of the body.
Yeah, that's a great point. To make sure that when you really get into those deeper detox strategies, you have those binders on board.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Does I have any questions come in? I know we have a little bit of difficulty Facebook streaming over now. I'm not seeing. Oh, Christina. What we have?
Oh, Jamie, I think we're having a little bit of tech issues today. Last week we had Kimberly with the internet glitch, and now this week we got Jamie with the internet glitch. We're trying to bring you this great content, and we're trying to be our best. So we need technology to work with us. Before we kind of get into a couple additional things that we did want to share with you today, I actually wanted to share something that we've been talking about behind the scenes, and you've probably seen it on our social channels as well. Dr. Meg, who is another expert in the MCAS field, is hosting a summit. It starts today, technically this evening, and it's the Reversing Mast Cell Activation and Histamine Intolerance Summit. 2.0, and it is going, like I said, going on starting today. We would love for you to attend. As you know, Beth is a big fan of summits, and we don't just endorse anything. That is not something we do around here. We want to make sure that it's going to help you. And so a lot of the familiar faces you've seen on our Facebook Live show, as well as a part of our courses, and they're friends of Beth and authors and speakers like Neil Nathan. And gosh, there's just so many that we love and support that are incredible MCAS experts. So this is a free event. So we just would encourage you, even if you can't make it the whole time, go ahead and sign up at the link below, mastcell360.com/2024 summit. You're going to actually get a whole grouping of free ebooks, including an ebook from Beth O'Hara. And that is something that is a gift from us to you and from Dr. Meg and the team of experts that are supporting this event. And then they'll send you, more information about the schedule and what they have going on throughout the entire week. So we wanted to mention that. And I know the team around here loves to learn. So Kimberly, I know you love to learn. Jamie, you are in a perpetual state of learning. And that is something that we always want to encourage. So if you're joining us live, or on the replay, this is probably something that you would enjoy. It would benefit you to really hear some of the go-to experts in this field that is ever growing. 15 years ago, Beth says, we would have never had these conversations or these summits. I mean, we were still learning so much. So Kimberly or Jamie, if you want to just share some thoughts about summits, and maybe what was a pivotal point for you? Was it a summit or an educational class that was so key in your growth and learning?
Yeah, I mean, where I discovered Beth was actually through a podcast.
Wow.
I had a Lyme diagnosis, so it was a Lyme podcast that Beth was on talking about Mast Cell. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is something that I do have. So that kind of led me to Beth and led me to the clinic and getting some help there, which was super helpful. So yeah, sometimes it's just the idea that you get. The one thing I will say, I've attended a lot of summits. It can be overwhelming to be like, okay, I want to watch pick one or two a day. Like if I have to prioritize, I'm going to listen to this one talk because it's really relevant, the topic for me, or I really want to see this presenter. So that's my advice, is pick one a day, and just know every summit kind of has a replay, usually on a weekend, where you're able to watch more and do a little bit of catch up if you want to see some more. But it's, if you just look at one per day, just so you don't overwhelm yourself, and you can just listen to it too if you're having trouble, visually watching things, because I know sometimes it's a problem.
Yeah, that's great wisdom. Thank you. I'd love to see, if you guys are watching right now live or even on the replay, that's fine too. How did you discover Beth? Did you discover Beth on a podcast, in a summit? Have you been to one of the summits? We hosted a summit last year. Gosh, we had 40,000 people sign up from all over the world. So I'd love for y'all to drop in the comments and just let us know how you found Beth. That's always a great experience and piece of information for us to know. And also, we're trying to figure out why our comments are not working today. So go ahead and show us some love in the comment box so we know you're there and we can find out what's going on with technology, because you guys love to talk to us. You're chatty normally, so we don't know what to do with the fact that you're not chatty today.
Yeah, that's so strange. Maybe the comments aren't working.
I do see a little notification that it may not be working today on our side. So that could be what's going on. Because they're probably trying to say something to us. Aha! Here we go. We've got one. All right, but it's on YouTube. So that's a fun fact. So Sunny mentioned she discovered Beth at a recent summit. So you never know, that go-to expert that has a key to helping unlock your health mystery can be at a summit. And I just love that they make them free to attend kind of the first go around. And then you can always purchase the replays if you want to access that in the long term, which is really cool. Jamie, how about for you?
I discovered Beth through her blog. I'm a big researcher, so I was, Google Scholar, or just Google, Dr. Google, whatever it is. anyway, I Googled something and actually I think my mom sent me one of her blogs and I read it and I was like, wow, that's a detailed, well-researched blog. I'm going to sign up for the newsletter. And so that's kind of how I started following along. But yeah, my advice for the summit was going to be similar to Kim's, like pick 1 or 2 a day. And if you do want to purchase it, I think it's only $67, which is a really, really good investment to be able to watch the summit at your own pace.
There's that technology again. See, this is why when you invest in a summit and you can watch it at your own pace, which is what Jamie's talking about, if your internet acts glitchy or you just are having some other thing going on, it's nice to be able to come back to it. And I know as we've been talking about it, even before we started the live today, talking about how healing is not a straight line. It is, what did you say, Kimberly? It's a spiral.
It's a journey. I like to say it's a spiral.
Yeah.
Because you kind of revisit it on a different layer and maybe it doesn't last as long. I also sort of recently coined the term signature symptom. Like my signature symptom is hives, right? So it used to be in reaction to mold, but now it can be in reaction to stress or some other things. It's my body's way of communicating to me what's going on. And so rather than make it my enemy, it's more, okay, what are you trying to tell me? What's kind of going on? And how can I listen to my body? Yeah.
It's your rumble strip, if you will. Like, hey, pay attention to me.
Right. Because it can't really talk, right? It's
right.
It's through symptoms. Yeah.
That's good. And so I've definitely had conversations with our other team members and heard stories of, you might watch a video that caters to your situation right now, but then maybe there's a different flare up or a different onion layer is peeled and you need a different set of resources down the road. And you're like, oh man, I didn't watch that during the summit. And that's an opportunity as well. So Jamie, anything else you want to add? Your internet feels stabilized again.
It looks okay at the moment. No, I think that's good. My signature symptom is air hunger.
Mm-hmm. It's not
yeah,
one.
I think we all have one.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Yeah, I'm gonna ponder which of the 3 that come off the top of my head right now is my one. Oh man. Oh gosh. Well, I know as we kind of land the plane for today, since we just really aren't seeing a lot of comments, and normally we do our Q&As at the end. And since we do have like Kimberly with us today, if you do have a question, feel free to pop that in and Kimberly or Jamie can answer that live, which would be awesome. I mean, that's like literally sitting in a clinic meeting. So if we can help, we are here to do that. But we wanted to let you know, in keeping with the MCAS Basics theme, that we do have a special offer going on this week as well. So that special offer is for our Mast Cell 360 Precision Mold Masterclass. And we're doing $50 off this week, which is a great deal on the basic level. So just to get started, it puts you around the $199 price point. And Jamie or Kimberly, one of you, if you want to share, or both, that's fine. How, because I know you both have gone through our classes, both personally and you've had our clients go through it. You want to share a little bit more about this masterclass, and especially for those at a robust level of sensitivity, how this could be a benefit for them.
Yeah, certainly can jump in on that. Yeah, I did her class when I was a client before I was working here. So absolutely, she just does such a great job really breaking it down and making it mast cell friendly too, like talking about how to go about it and how to approach it and what might be going on. So I found it really helpful. And in fact, I have the handouts printed out, which I don't print out a lot of things, and I still use like her handouts all the time to kind of look things up, or kind of like what's going on with this person. Like, let me kind of see what's going on there. So it's sort of a forever resource for me for sure.
Yeah, it's great that it's self-paced, because people with brain fog or EMF sensitivities may not be able to be in front of the computer a long time. So when you purchase this, you have lifetime access to it for as long as Mast Cell 360 is in business, which we don't plan on going anywhere. So unlimited access to come back to this resource as much as you need to. And it's a great resource, especially again at that price point where you're almost going to spend more than that for one appointment with the doctor. Whereas this allows you to kind of go through the MC360 method and, there's troubleshooting, sections in there to help you like customize this to your individual case too.
Yeah.
Like that mycotoxin testing that we mentioned earlier in the live, they tell you which mycotoxins you need to target. So we didn't go over binders today because what binders someone needs are different than what someone else needs. So this course lays that all out for you.
That's a really great point. And I know a lot of you are already familiar with this product because we've mentioned it as a resource during all of kind of our Mold May Facebook Lives. And so some of you might have, just being really frank, maybe that wasn't in your budget in May and you missed the window. So we wanted to provide that opportunity again and just allow you the chance to kind of jump in and get started. This does include the special roadmap that goes along with it. So you can kind of look where you are in the process. That was one of the bonus offers we had during Mold May. And so we went ahead and included that $99 bonus as part of this. So when you enroll, you'll go ahead and you'll get that in your account automatically. So we wanted to, as always, sweeten the deal when we can. So we did that for you. And if you have any questions, just let us know. You can always just send us an email at support@mastcell360.com and we can let you know if this is an ideal course for you. We do also include our typical 30-day money back guarantee. So if you get in there and it's not the course for you, you can always let us know. We're happy to refund it for you. It's not something we see often just because, as Kimberly mentioned, people get in there and they're like, wow, this is really, really clear. And they love our transcripts and they love being able to watch the videos and learn from Beth. So if that is something you've been looking for, we just encourage you to take a look. You can learn more about it and read in detail, read through all the FAQs. We know who you are out there. You like to ask all the good questions. You can do that at mastcell360.com/mold-course. Awesome. Well, I'm going to take that off the screen here. I actually see a question that's come in. I love that Susan shared this. Susan, I can relate to you today. She said she's feeling a little brain foggy today. So she didn't have questions, but you know what? She rallied and now she has the question. So Susan, we appreciate you. So Jamie, do you mind sharing a little bit more about what is air hunger?
Yeah. I remember, well, I don't even remember when the symptoms started for me, but sometime in college, so over a decade ago for me, it became hard to get a deep breath. I'd have to like yawn in order to like satisfy that. Like it was like I was gasping for air, but it wasn't like a panic attack. So it was really this weird symptom that I started experiencing and couldn't quite figure out. And it was about 2 years ago where I went to my functional doctor at the time and he was like, I was like, what, like, why, what is this? And I will say that since I started detoxing mold, it has gotten less and less. It was one of those symptoms that I experienced every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. And now I can go a few days at a time where I don't have any. So definitely, like I said, it's that signature symptom because when it does rear its head again, I know that something in my body is off balance. There's a couple theories behind it. It's often associated with babesia, which is a tick-borne infection. And so, with clearing of the mold, my body and immune system may be able to tolerate and keep those tick-borne infections in check a little bit more, which is why I'm experiencing that symptom less. And I'm not currently addressing any tick-borne infections with my protocol, but I am addressing the mold. So by getting the mold out of my system, my immune system is becoming more robust in itself and able to tolerate some of those other things going on internally. Kim, I don't know if you have clients with air hunger or have anything to add to that to elaborate.
Yeah. I sometimes see it also with POTS, right? So if you have POTS, you often have lower blood volume, so then the oxygenation isn't there. So that can happen as well. But yeah, it can be related to babesia for sure. I see that as well.
Okay. Awesome. Susan, thanks. That was a great question. And I'm sure there's going to be others that have had that question as well. So I made sure to screenshot that particular question. So we'll include that in our email that goes out tomorrow for the replay, because I think that's a good one. We don't hear all the time, but it would probably be one that would go, oh, wait, what is that? And I'd love to learn more. So awesome. Well, ladies, unless you have anything else you would like to add, maybe a word of encouragement for those that are in the robust, kind of detox stage of the process. I think we are good to go for today. I do want to let you guys know next week we have another special guest joining us. We've got Stephen Wright coming back to join us again from the Healthy Gut team. We're going to be hanging out with him a couple times between June and July. So he's going to be on next week. So be sure to join us on Tuesday at 1 p.m. We'll definitely be posting. If you've got any questions about leaky gut, now is the time to ask them. So be sure to send those our way so we can get them answered from him. He's such a great resource of wisdom. So we're delighted to have him on live again with us next week. So be sure to tune in for that. Jamie, Kimberly, final thoughts?
The final piece of advice I would give is sometimes my robust clients want to run through the process because they can go faster, right? So they're not as sensitive. They're maybe not stuck in the fear of trying something new. So sometimes they try to run through too fast, right? I love their bravery in terms of trying things and being able to onboard things quickly. But just really, we can't always push through a detox. It's kind of, sometimes we do need to, as we're trying to detox, it sets us back a little bit, and we become a little sensitive, and we just need to back off a little bit and sort of manage the process and get really curious about why that happened, because usually there's a reason.
Yeah. And I'll speak from my personal story. Once I added those antifungals and those more antimicrobial supports, I was like, okay, it's going to finally get out of my body. And then we recommend retesting every 6 months. And I did my retest, and my levels were way higher. And so instead of having that victory moment, it was like that humbling moment of, nope, it's a slower process, and that's okay. This is where I am today, and that's fine. And I'm just going to keep taking one step forward. And so, yeah, if you are robust and you're not where you want to be yet, don't worry. You're doing everything you need to be doing. And if you need extra support, you know where to find us.
Yeah, I've had clients almost the mycotoxins levels really coming down beautifully, and then do the antifungals, like you said, Jamie, and then kind of feeling mentally set back. But I'm like, this is what you're detoxing, right? It just wasn't there before because it wasn't unleashed per se. So as it shows what you're detoxing, so it's great.
Yeah, it's been dislodged from who knows where in my body.
Right.
But luckily it's leaving.
Exactly. Well, I think this comment summarizes today, to say the least, and so we'll land the plane on this note from Susan. Wow, so grateful for the generosity of our healthcare, our community, if you will, to share knowledge and time. So, Kimberly, Jamie, thank you for sharing your knowledge and your time today, not just with us here for free, on our lives, but every day within the clinic with all the people we work with all over the United States virtually through the Mast Cell 360 clinic. So thank you to you. And thank you to our community watching live and on the replay. We're grateful to you. And come back and join us next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We will be here, and we're going to hang out with Stephen Wright, like I said, from Healthy Gut. For those of you joining the summit that kicks off tonight, one more time, here is the link to go ahead and sign up to get that free ticket from Beth to you. So you can also get all the free bonus resources. We'd love to have you sign up and hang out with us over there for the next couple of days. That would be lots of fun. And if you are looking for a really clear next step, if you're on our method of our process, and you're ready to kind of determine that detox next step, go ahead and check out the Mold Masterclass. It's $50 off through this Friday. So go ahead and use code MCAS50 at the website listed below. All right, I think that's it. Ladies, thank you again, and we will see everyone next week. Bye.